always reinvent ourselves. And that's something super important to remember. You don't have to feel like, if you're stuck in a moment in your coaching business where you feel like things aren't moving and you feel like, oh my gosh, maybe coaching isn't for me, right? Because life happens. And it's important for you to know that it's not Beachbody, guys. It is, this opportunity rocks, and it's for most everybody. You can rock this business out and make it work. But it's super important that you know that you can reinvent yourself where you're at. You can get up and you can create a new post, and you can find some new information. And I hope I can share that with you tonight. So I shared it with my team yesterday because people were kind of in a rut. Like, don't be afraid of jumping up and reinventing yourself. Look, when I started coaching, I was 40. How old was I? Okay, 45, 46. Okay. And I was like, okay, so I'm a new mom. Silas was a newborn. Now, my journey is a lot different than all of yours as moms. Both of my boys were adopted. Leo and I struggled with infertility, the kind that you just don't know why, for years and years. And it really put the kibosh on our relationship and my worth and all those things, right, that are so important to us as women. And I struggled so much. And I really just felt like I was in a place where, I wasn't moving. I wasn't doing much. I was just a mom, right? And that's a really sad place to be, because we moms have such an important job, and I love my boys. But they came to our family through the journey of adoption. And when I found Anita Myron, my sponsor, I was looking for cloth diapers on a cloth diaper buy-sell trade site. And she happened to have these little teeny diaper covers because my son Silas was a preemie. And I was like, well, those are great. They're for a girl, but they're tiny, and I'm going to just get them. So lo and behold, that's how I met Anita Myron, for goodness sakes. So adding to your network is so important, right? Those relationships are so important because you just don't know when that next person for your tribe is going to be there for you, because that's what happened. I followed Anita for about a long time, for like 6 months, and started seeing her workout posts and how she was kind of this, she had reinvented herself, right? She was this, was in the DJ scene, and she shares all of that publicly about how, and I went back and looked at all her pictures, like looking through all these pictures, saying, who is this girl? I dig her. I think we would be friends. And so I watched it, and then I started watching about her income posts, and she finally was starting to reach out to me because I was liking her things, and she noticed that. And so it was still another couple months, but finally I saw an event that she was posting for we did phone calls back then. I don't know, Bree, if you remember, but we didn't do webinars. We did like on the phone. Hey, you listen to a story. And I did 3 of those. And then she posted an income post. And I was like, I know that this is something that I think I would love. And plus, I need to work out because I'm super tired. Really, really, that just depressed time, and just where you're tired. It was winter, all that stuff. And so I reached out to her about a T25 challenge pack. And that was that. And she said, do you want to coach? I'm like, do you think I should coach? She's like, yeah, I think you should. And that's how that started. So that's a little bit of my story. So the importance of, focusing on relationships is so key. One of my coaches.
Did you sign up? So when you bought your challenge pack, you signed up as a coach right away. Is that right?
I did. I didn't really, so backstory a little bit more. My dad was a network marketer, is still. And he tried lots of companies, and some succeeded, and some were, back in the day there were a lot, and I think there probably still are. But these were your typical Amway. Mm-hmm. There were phone card, multi-level marketing, all these other things. But my dad is my hero, and he said to me, if you can find something you can get behind, and it is going to build exponential passive income, you do it. because that's how you build wealth. Now, we are here to help people, right? We are totally here to help people with their health and their wealth, if that's what they want to do. So to answer your question, I did sign up for the coach because I understood kind of what I was getting into in a way. And I was very intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool.
Do you have a question about that?
No, I just wanted to know. I was like, I thought you had, but I just wanted the team to know. Because I know so many people, start as challengers and then they sign up as a coach later. And, they all know me. I signed up as a coach and was like, tell me how to earn that money back. Like, my boyfriend's going to kill me for buying another product. So, it's nice to know, to just jump into it. Do you have to have results? I think it's like good to know, like, hey, people join as a coach and share their journey right from the get-go without, any previous anything.
For sure. And that's, and what I did was I didn't know. All I knew was from watching Anita, you guys, for those months that I watched her, because at the time I was on Facebook all the time anyway. And I was the one that would like post really like argumentative comments with people. I get into arguments. I'd be like, and I was that person. And trust me, I went to bed at night, like sometimes crying because I was so sad about my viewpoints, whatever those were, and you go back and you could scroll through and you can see them. But I mean, I'd be so upset when people would just totally just like lay it on me every night. I'd be like, go to bed thinking I hurt people. And anyway, this came at the right time because I needed that change. Facebook can be used for good, right? And we've got to do that. And so relationships, when we talk about that, it's so important that we focus on those. There was one of my coaches posted in our team page 2 days ago. She was talking to somebody, reached out to her. She had no idea how she met this person, right? She had to kind of go back and look. It was somebody she added to her network who was very quiet and just was watching her. And finally, she reached out and she wanted to purchase a challenge pack because she had seen my coach Jessica's journey and just how vulnerable Jessica was in her posts. And so anyway, long story short, Jessica shared on our page that she spent time helping her set up her back office and look at things and go through and help her with her Beachbody on Demand. And the woman said, I just really appreciate you because I feel like you've seen me. I just want to cry. She goes, because I feel like I'm not, like, you're really seeing me, you're listening to me, and I can't tell you how much that means to me, right? Now this person, and Jessica was like, because that's what her hope is, right? This woman will probably become a coach, and she will probably be a long-time customer because of the way Jessica treated her as not a sale. Because guys, let's face it, we're shooting for Success Club. Sometimes those relationships get, we're like, I want to hit Success Club. That's how I feel. I want to hit it every month. It's a non-negotiable for me and my team. But when we start looking at that and feeling that way, people can palatably get that from us, right? So that was a really great lesson for our team to get that message from Jessica, because we have to look at people with total love and helping them that way first, right? So when we create relationships, there's a lot of coaches that I've known or seen that just come into the gate. They're Success Club 50. They're doing it. They're getting it, and then 3 months later, they kind of they kind of dive, they disappear, they kind of phase out, because what happens is that they hit that warm market they were going, but they weren't adding to their network. And so they didn't have a lot of, if I start to freeze breathe, please tell me, because my computer's full to the max. So I hope I don't die on you guys.
You're good so far.
Okay. Well, I'll keep, I can talk for a long time, but I'll keep this short so Bree can ask questions, or you guys can have your meeting. All right. So people just like kind of phase out, like dive, they burn out because they don't have anybody they're talking to. And guys, that's part of our power hours, is we add to our network. And form, right? When you form a new contact, we talk about family, we talk about occupation, we talk about recreation, and then we talk about a message. When I was a new coach, I did that with a lot of people. But I've switched up a little bit to how I do things, because To me, sometimes I think that could come off as, well, you're asking me specific questions, and those conversations can get, I don't know, mechanical sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out and invite, because you have those invite blitzes. I do, our team does. But I think there's another way that I'd like to show you, that if you haven't heard of it, to talk to people. And that is when you have a new person you've added, and I try to add, I go through and add 10 a day. And then I go back and I see who hasn't added me back. I go and I delete that. What am I trying to say? My goodness. I go and unfriend them or delete the request. And then I'll go back in and immediately request them back, because that brings it back into their feed and they will add you. So try that if you can. All right.
That's a great tip. So so if you send a friend sorry. So when you go into the sent friend requests, you unfriend or take the friend request back, and then you resend it again?
Just right away.
Okay.
Because
I never have done that. I've never.
Yeah, I did that during our power. I did that. We had one with Anita, a little power hour we did, and I that was one of my things I did, because you don't realize how many you've sent out, and then you're like, oh, I have like 50 or whatever it is, you know. And you got to be careful, because Facebook's like,
right.
But then you go and you do it right back, and then it comes up and like, oh, I got a friend request. Oh, they just didn't see it before.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great tip. I think. I mean, I've gone in and I make sure my team knows they don't want to get too many friend requests out there floating around, because they can get blocked. But I never thought about resubmitting that for people to kind of go, oh, I didn't see that.
Totally works. So, and then you can go back and go, and then you might realize somebody's a coach now, and you're like, oh, I want some person.
I don't want to be friends.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's something that I do now, and I think it's been working really well, because people, it's not harsh, and you're not coming at them from because they know if they've been watching you, they know you have a business. If you are posting value in your page and you guys are consistent, they know what you're doing. So what I do now is I comment. So I go to their posts, and you have to write down, whenever you add somebody and they accept your request, you have got to follow them, meaning you've got to write down the people you added, because it's easy to forget. I'm not one who goes right to somebody, even if they friend request me and say, hey, thank you for the friend request. Are you interested in one of my fitness groups? I don't do that. That's not my technique. Some coaches have super success with that. So when someone friend requests me, I just let them kind of watch me. Okay. So when you add someone, you have to track it, whether that's just pen and paper, which is good for me, or if you use Teensy, or if you use Asana, whatever it is, you have to know. Because what you need to do is you need to go the next day and you need to like their post, you need to comment on their post. You need to do that every once in a while. You need to put them on a little cycle, right? So like you might, every couple days, you'll go specifically seek them out, okay? And start commenting. When they start liking things back and you have a conversation, in that comment, you might say, oh my gosh, you say, hey, Jill, this is written, tag them. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh, what a great picture. Are you at the beach? So comment, compliment, and ask a question. Because that gets a conversation going. Enough to win one day you will want to actually message them and just ask them a question in a personal message. Hey, Jill, I totally saw your pictures of your kids today. How they are so cute. How old are they? I've got a 3 and an 8-year-old, and then that conversation starts to get, more intimate. And I think that is a way you can actually talk to people where you don't even have to talk about your challenge group, because they're going to see that. And you don't have to talk about your coach mentorship program, because they're going to see that too. And then you're going to have just a really great friendship that you're forming. Some will be more receptive than others, but it's still a compliment when someone messages you, I think. And especially if you've been liking, commenting, complimenting and asking a question. So I would next time you add, we go back and look at who you've added. Definitely put them in rotation. And that seems a little bit, this is a business, but you are building relationships, and you're looking for people who are like you, and you're looking for coaches who are posting on Facebook and doing what you do already. So this could be a great way to start your coach recruitment too. So I like form. That's probably really good for a like page. And to be honest with you guys, I don't have a like page yet. Can you believe it? After 2 years, I'm still working on, warm market and ads. So it's crazy. Eventually I'll get one, but I like this. I like the comment compliment question because I think it's really personal. They're not numbers. They feel like they can trust you. When you win one day, you're going to say, "Hey, Jill, I'm running a sugar detox group, like 5 days. Is that something you'd be interested in jumping into me with? It's just free. We're just hanging out and not eating sugar for 5 days." So it's like a really, and then she's in your free group, and then you can talk to her about a challenge group one day. So that's just really laid back way to do it. And I like that for me because that's easy for me. So does anybody have any questions about that or thoughts? Anything, do you do
that? So you're a pen and paper girl. Do you track by the month? Or I know everybody asks me about my tracking, and every coach about how do you keep track? Like
I track. I write. Honestly, I do it week by week. I will track who I add. Who I'm talking to every week. Because if I don't see that, and then I can go at the end of the month and I can see how many of those conversations turned into relationships.
Yeah.
I can kind of look at that, and I can look at maybe those that weren't as talkative and maybe do more next month. Because I am very, I don't want to give too much away, but I'm very disorganized.
Right.
I don't want to be.
I think so many people think there's this secret to follow-ups and tracking, and I've screen shared my document. It's literally a list of names that I search into my Facebook, and I'm like, okay, have I connected with this person this week? But it's nice to know. You're going to be an elite coach this year, and you have this awesome team. And you don't have a like page. You don't have, I don't know if you're on Instagram or Snapchat, but I know I'm not. I have an Instagram, but it's not, I don't get any business. It's a personal, but I have a like page too. And it's just good for teams to see how far you've come just by doing that consistently, that you have, comment, compliment, question. And I think, like you said, for me, but I like that where it's even more simplified of you don't have to go into somebody's inbox and be nosy or weird or invasive. If that's not you, don't do that. That you're sharing, you're letting them come to you even more, that you're I'm just going to comment on their stuff. We clearly became friends. They weren't weirded out that I friended them or that they friended me. But I'm doing what Facebook was set up to do, was comment on each other's pictures, share on each other's lives. And it's going to be a natural, hey, this girl and I clicked or we didn't, and go from there. And I love that because I do that a lot too. I never had a system of comment, compliment, question, but it's kind of the same. I don't have to be salesy anymore because I've been consistent in that. And I think, so many people would say Success Club, yes. But to get Success Club in 8 months, you can start doing this now, 10 to 20 people a day or every other day, and have those people start coming to you, start having it come naturally. Yes, you have to push in the first 3 to 5 months of your business. For the first year in your business, it's going to be a lot of connecting with a lot of people. Yeah. But it becomes so much more natural if you're doing this and forming in your next year, in your, 3 years in the business. It becomes I actually have people wanting to talk to me. Like you said, they know what you do. If you're passionate about what you do, I can go to your page and see you work out, you offer these groups consistently. It's not oh, she hosted that one group that one time. It's you're sharing and being consistent in that. So when somebody's ready, they know where to find you. So I think that's super key. So I think if you guys have a takeaway, that should be it.
Yeah. Do you guys listen? There's a great podcast called My Virtual Upline. And you guys should be a part of that if you're not. I'm sure Bree listens. And he was talking last night. Sometimes I lay in bed and listen to podcasts if I can't sleep. Wow. Woo, party. But I learned so much because, he was talking about focus and consistency. I wrote this down. Wins 100% of the time. And he said, and he put it this way. He said, are you part-time or sometime? He goes, are you part-time? And he just means working the business. I'm full-time, but are you sometime during, like full-time during the week or part-time during the week? And then all of a sudden on Saturday, we're sometime, and he goes, and it's so what we teach, you've heard that. And I teach my team that is that you can't close our doors on the weekend, and we can't run one challenge for every 2 months. I'm reverbing, sorry. So am I
no,
echoing?
Nope, you're good.
Oh, really? I'm echoing. I hear myself. All right.
No. You're just echoing to yourself.
I'm echoing.
I was like one little thing, but then you were good.
Okay. It's just important. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because I don't think I've said that to my team, and the virtual upline is awesome. I know Kendra listens to it, Lauren listens to it, I know Anita listens to it. It's an awesome one to be on. I lost my train of thought. Like Prego brain. Like I was gonna ask another question and it's totally gone out of my brain.
I do that all the time. I'm not pregnant. So
I'm like, and nothing. I've got nothing.
Let's see. Well, I don't think, I really wanted to, I know one more thing I wanted to share. And this is a really great question that I've learned, is that, okay, so I'll ask people to like, or, like this post if you're comment, or, tag me if you want more information or something. But then I'll have people that really just like my posts a lot. They'll like my coaching posts. They'll like my fitness posts. They never really reach out about being involved. But so what I do now is I look for those likes and I send them a thank you. And I say, and I think I learned this on one of our leadership boards, and it has worked. I think Brooke Lipoff shared it, but it is working. I say to the person, like my friend Sandra, I said, Sandra, I just want to thank you for always supporting me on Facebook with my business. I really appreciate it. I just want to let you know that. And I just sent a message. And she messaged me back and said, oh, girl, I just love the motivation. We got us motivated sisters. We got to stick together. And I'm like, amen, sister. And I wrote her back and I said, absolutely. That motivation is what coaches do. You'd be a great coach. And I do that specifically to people that are really liking everything. You'd be a great coach. And I said, have you ever thought about doing what I do? I asked a question, and they are like, well, I'm interested. Next month I've got a race, but I'm preparing for that. But yeah, keep me in the loop. I've got more than one person that have been like, yeah, totally. So that's a really great thing, is to thank people who are following you and liking your posts, and just give them kudos, because people love to be appreciated. And that is a great way just to say, you're not asking for anything. You're just saying, thank you so much. It's really important to me that, people are supporting me. It helps. Just send a message. And that's been great. Relationships, you guys.
I love that, because leading in with a compliment, a thank you, being gracious, your message is nothing more than, hey, I've noticed that you're following me. I've noticed the love. Thank you so much. Have you thought about this? It's a super easy question, but opens the door to those that may be terrified or not know that you have spots on your team, because we do make it seem exclusive. I don't add everyone as a coach. So it makes it seem like, holy cow, she knows that I'm following her. I've been hiding over here. So I like that too, that you can reach out that way. I think that's a really good tip too. I know we have a lot of introverts on our team. So many people think that you have to be this huge outgoing person, and I know we always talk about, to potential coaches, and they're like, well, I don't think I could do that because you're so happy and peppy and you do the live videos. And I'm like, yeah, but I've been doing this 2.5 years. I was not always that way. But we have a ton of introverts on our team. And I think just to hear, it's not it's not being intrusive. You don't have to be an introvert. You don't have to be jumping down people's throats. In fact, I don't want any of my coaches, and I'm sure you don't either want people, we don't want to be that company. We don't want to be the people in the inbox where I'm like, why do I have 20 messages about this BOGO deal of this cleanse? Like, I don't, and it doesn't work. We don't buy that product. We don't go, oh my gosh, a link? Sign me up. So to hear, I mean, I've shared it, but I know to hear from another coach that's been successful that it's about relationships, and you just have to build a lot of them to meet the right people.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think that's awesome. I think that it's so intimidating. Conversations, I know, in the business are the scariest thing, but it's the bread and butter of what we do. And meeting, like, my coaches, you know, it's meeting them and talking to them. And whenever they're ready to sign up, I can look at so many faces on this call, and it's like, I talked to them for months, like, just as a friend. And I didn't have a timer on, like, okay, cross that person off. Like, they're not going to sign up. They aren't going to buy anything. It was simply a very simple, like you said, a compliment, a comment, a reaction to something that they posted that created and sparked a conversation that turned into, like, hey, we follow each other. Hey, we vibe well. Oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you have goals too? Like, me too. I can totally relate. And it creates that movement into your team of who would be good on my team? Who do I vibe with? Because those conversations don't spark from nothing. It's not like, oh, you don't want to sign up for my link. Okay, bye.
Right.
So,
exactly.
I think that's awesome. It's a lot of work. I mean, what we do as coaches isn't like a freebie, send a link out to 100 people and 3 people are bound to sign up. It is a different type of company. And I think you hit on that, is you have to like what you do, and you have to show up, and you have to want to have conversations with people. You have to want to relate to people and get to know people. And when you have that and that spark, I mean, this is what we do for fun. Friday night, we just talked about Friday night Zoom call. Like,
be part of the 5%. Be part of the 5%, because that's what you guys are.
Yeah.
You know, don't be the 95% who won't do a lot, and the 95% who are who just won't do it. You guys are the 5%. This is amazing. I mean, it's amazing what you're doing. Yeah. So never think less. Always get your head in the game and know that you're doing good stuff.
Does anybody have questions for Mona, even if it's not on this topic? I mean, it's fun to have another coach on the call. Like, you know, she's here to, you can pick her brain, ask any questions in the chat if you're muted. I guess everybody's muted. Or unmuted.
There's a lot of faces. I follow a lot. I see you guys posting. Because you're all public, right?
All public with your page. I'm always saying that. Like, you're not public? Nobody's saying your stuff. No, I'm joking. Well, not really, but it's a stumbling block for new coaches. But for real. Anybody, questions, comments?
So many good coaches on here.
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
This is Carrie. Hi.
Hi, Carrie.
I'm so excited you're on our call. You being a mom, stay-at-home mom to 2 kids, how do you talk to coaches about finding balance being a mom to 2 kids? I have a lot of people telling me you're a mom to 1 child, so you don't understand. And I'm like, I tell them I try to relate, but I'm just trying to figure out a good way to tell them how to find balance with that.
That's a good question. And sometimes, Carrie, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I feel like a hypocrite because I am very disorganized. And I kind of work, and I'm like, I wish I could tell somebody like a system, right, that works. Because, for me, what I tell them is, honestly, this may sound whatever. I say, if you want to do this, you will find a way. Because I have a new coach who has 5 kids, and she's figuring it out, and she's kind of doing it on her own. She hootsuites her personal page for now. That's what she has to do. And we're doing a 21-day, it's Leslie Corda's what to post, and she's using those posts and making them her own. Yep. Right. And so, so I guess what I would say is, they've got to find time where it's 30 minutes somewhere, and then 30 minutes somewhere else to do those specific behaviors that it's going to take. And like Bree said, it's not natural to do those behaviors, the vital behaviors, right? There's something we have to do to get good at them. I mean, I still struggle sometimes. I'm like, oh, I have to do those things today, because you get into leadership mode and you forget your daily activities. So we have to find the time, somewhere. I had to give up TV. I love TV, and I DVR everything now. In like the virtual upline, he's in my head. It's like he said, there's never an excuse for time. There's never an excuse for, even if you have a big family, because you can figure out that time to fit it in. And maybe that's tough love, but I would just say that's where we have to help our coaches see power hours. And I try to tell our coaches that, and either someone will do that and they'll accept it and they'll put it into action, or they won't, and they'll struggle, because you have to be a little bit organized, right? Even a little.
Yeah, I kind of told her the same thing. I'm really good friends with Ivy Hoyt, and I'm she's a mom to 4 kids, and she homeschools, so she's rocking her business. So I'm just like, you got to find the time. You got to find what's more important to you. So, all right.
Exactly. There's something that they can do or stop doing that will give them that hour that they need at least every day to do their business, right? And it's just it's an excuse, and it's hard to find sometimes, especially if you're tired, right? Like right before we got on this call, I sent out 4 or 5 emails. So, and I was like, I could wait till tomorrow, but that wouldn't be cool. Then I'd be like, that's not a power hour.
So, and then you've missed a day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something else I'm using in my email. It's just interesting it's a neat tool. I'm using a tool called Streak. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's free. It's a Google what do you call plugin? And it comes into your email, and you can put your emails straight into this kind of organizational thing where you can move them into different categories. And I really like that for me, because it's right there with the email I'm talking to. And I know if I've talked to them, if they bought, and if I'm going to talk to them about coaching, I can put it right there. You can't enter names, so far as I can tell. So I couldn't do what we're doing tonight. I couldn't add new relationships. The email conversations, if you do that, it's really neat. It's called Streak. So it's helped me stay a little bit organized. I like it. So just putting it out there, if you do emails, conversations with people.
Amanda, do you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Mona.
Hello. Rockstar, how are you?
I'm good. Do you move all your conversations to email then?
I'm starting to ask for those emails now, just because I find that I have to be careful. You still have to do the conversations, you still have to ask the specific questions. And I try to do those, what's your goal? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? I do all of that with everybody still. I do that in the message part, because that's pretty quick, And then as we talk, I say, I'd love to send you the details. I ask this question: is it better would you rather do email? Would you rather email, or is Messenger fine? And I kind of let them tell me. Usually they'll say email.
Okay.
I think people are want to just get the information. I did make a mistake I want to share yesterday. I assumed that somebody was ready to buy 22-minute hardcore because their friends were doing it, and she was really excited. And so I basically sent her everything. And she was like, I don't know if this is the one, and backed out because I really sent too much information. So it's super important to still break it down. Mm-hmm. That's what I think helps with the Streak app. It really lets you take those in, and it's free. So, but if you're using Teamsy, you can do the same thing. But yeah, I like email these days. People seem to think it's pretty, what am I trying to say? Professional, you know what I mean? Because you're talking. But I still do Messenger too. I did one yesterday. So it's back and forth, Amanda.
Okay.
But I ask.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We're good. Well, thank you so much, Mona. I think we got a lot of nuggets out of you sharing. Sorry, I feel like I'm always on calls and I'm really pepped up, and then tonight I'm I was just at the park, I walked the dog, I'm zero energy.
You guys are great. You got a beautiful team. You guys are doing great things. You guys are so rocking it. Oh my gosh. So proud of you guys. Every time you guys come up on the top, 100 central region, I'm like, wow, go Bree.
We're going for it.
Yeah, you are. I'm
like, what am I going to do when this baby comes? It's fine. I'll just nurse and message.
But you have another beautiful baby.
Yes.
Why?
But I wanted to reiterate what you said about Power Hour, finding the time. I say that all the time. I used to be addicted to junk television, and I still am to some degree. Mm-hmm. But when I worked a full-time job and had a 1-year-old, I had to set priorities. I said, I like TV, but I also like the goals I have for my family, and I had to decide what was more important. I mean, you could watch TV, sure, and you could also not build a business. You could watch that 30 minutes of television, or for a year of the 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, let's be honest, we watch 5 hours of television a night. People don't realize that they have the time, because I don't think you're documenting the time that you do have. I think that was huge for me. I was like, oh, I don't have time. I work and this and that and the next thing and my daughter. But I was sitting watching television with my daughter. I wasn't investing in her. And so I had to really say, what is the time that I'm willing to give from myself? Because it's not fair to my daughter to cut into her playtime because I still want to watch TV. It's not fair to, my boyfriend to cut out all date nights and all activity together because I want to watch TV or whatever. So I'm going to build my business around his time. It was really about, where's my time that I can squeeze this in? And like you said, if it's 30 minutes as a mom or a student or, having a job, you have to carve out 15 minutes. You have to carve out 30. Maybe your Power Hour is split into 4 segments or 20. So I think, like you said, you don't have to be the most organized. You don't have to sit down and work for 4 hours for this business, but you do have to do it somewhere. You have to make that decision to send some friend requests, to send some messages, to send some positivity, like you said, forming and commenting and complimenting and writing names down. You have to spend time doing that every day, or you're missing the boat, because you're going to get a week down the road, you're going to get a month down the road and say, well, I don't really know who I talked to. I don't really know if I hit Success Club or why I didn't. Did you form? Did you talk to people? Did you do all you could in that 15 minutes of, whatever it was? I mean, personal development was I don't have time for it. Well, I started listening to podcasts and I have lots of time. I was like, man, I'm zooming through books. I just switched to okay, I like music, but I also think that this is really important in my business. So I'm going to listen to it while I cook dinner and do dishes and walk the dog. Sure, I love my, Pandora, and I still enjoy music. But if that's the time that I have, and it's the mile walk with the dog, then I have to listen to my personal development. So I think that's key too, is you either want to do it and you choose to do it, or you choose to make excuses of why you don't have the time.
Yeah, and it's easy to do even as a veteran coach.
Totally. So, it's almost harder as a veteran coach because you feel like, well, I put the year in. I did invite.
Yes.
When's the time not to do that? And I'm like, I tell people all the time, I still invite. It's not like Success Club just falls into my lap for no reason. It's still new people that I've connected with over the last 3 months that are now signing up for a challenge now. It's not just, oh, now people just beg me to join my challenge groups.
That's the truth.
So
people you talked to 2 years ago are now like, I'm ready.
Yeah. I know. A lot of my rockstar coaches, it's we talked for 8 months. Or they joined a challenge group and did that, and they were like,
That's exciting. I love it when that happens. That's great. That means they're ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your wisdom.
I'm so glad.
If nobody has any other questions, that's all I had for tonight. I didn't even have any notes. I'm super excited to see everyone at Summit.
So good. How many are going to Summit?
We've got, let's see how many on this call. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have 10 on our team going.
Oh my gosh, you're going to have a great team picture.
Yeah, 10 to 14. I'm trying to remember. I know I have some discount coaches that don't even talk to me. They're my neighbor. So I think she's going, I don't know.
She's going to love this.
She was there last year and she never talks to me, but she still buys her Shakeology, and she was at the last year. So I think she'll be there. But anyway, I think we have an awesome, I know my coaches have some coaches going, and so yeah.
That's exciting when that happens.
Yeah, so we shall see you there. Thank you so much for getting on, guys. If you have questions, reach out to me. Don't go friend Mona, but you can, shoot questions her way. I just try to say that to save, network space for your team.
Oh, so I know your coaches. It's okay. But do you want to get a picture?
Yeah, if you have questions.
I might not post it now. It's too late, but we can get a picture and I can use it tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm still up. I'm excited about it. No, I might
take a picture. Let us know. Are you taking it?
I haven't. Smile. Do you guys hear that? Like crunching? Because I've done that when like different calls, like with other people, like that one we had one with Carl Deichler a long time ago, and I took it and I'm like, could they hear that?
Everybody knows the screenshot was just taken.
Who did that?
I've done that before. I don't know if when you're muted though, if it does.
I don't know. But I just wondered. I'm like,
I think I took one when I got my premiere call, and Jeff was like, you could have at least warned me.
I missed Jeff. Okay, that's another story. All right, you guys.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody. I'll have the recording up on our YouTube coach call or team call playlist soon. So good night, everyone.
Knock it out.
Bye.
Bye.